So I don't need to tell you that discipline is a great thing. I mean, it's obviously good. The ability to focus on what you want and to stick with it and to deny the distractions and the temptations and what you want and instead go after what you need. I mean, that's obviously going to be useful for pretty much any aspect of your life. If you want relationships, if you want to build your career, if you want to study, like discipline is an amazing thing. And so there's all of this advice out there on what discipline is and how to cultivate it, and all these tips and these tricks. And there's a lot of people talking about it because people know how good it is. But I read some of this advice, and it staggers me because it's like you've been disciplined before. So how are you this confused as to how discipline actually works? I'm always amazed when people talk about the old trick of just fake it for 30 days, just force it for 30 days, and then it will become a habit, which is one of the most absurd things. It's like, have you ever lived as a human being before? That's not how we operate. Uh, Habits can switch far faster than that. I remember once I used to walk to the bus stop and catch a bus to work, and then I changed jobs, and so then instead I would walk to the office, and most of that walk, like the first 15 minutes of that walk, is in the same direction because the office was near the bus stop. And so in one day, I had to go from going to the bus stop to going to the office, and most of that process was the same. And the number of times I felt myself heading towards my old job instead of my current job is exactly zero. Even though the setup was the same and the context was the same, the intention, the outcomes I knew were different. And I never even found my foot gravitating in the wrong direction. It's like, so I changed a habit which I'd had for probably years overnight, and it was just that's just how it worked. Same thing happened with a I wish I could say it was a brief experiment with veganism. It did go for years, but for a while there, I was eating, 4 6 eggs a day, and then I became vegan, and then I just stopped eating eggs. And then after a while, I came to my senses, started eating eggs again, and so just one day I just started eating eggs again. Like these habits didn't need 30 days to change. Didn't need 30 days to mix up my routines or anything. I just changed, and that was it. And so going grocery shopping, I just buy whatever I needed. I didn't find myself buying the wrong food ever. At least not on purpose. Like, sometimes hidden ingredients or whatever. Uh, but the point is that you can change your habits in a moment if you need to. But on the other side, sometimes 30 days isn't enough. You stick with something for 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, and then the moment that you stop forcing yourself to do it, it just collapses. It just goes away. That's a pretty common thing too. And this whole idea of using willpower, I mean, you got to prove to me that willpower even exists to start with, because maybe it does. It does fit certain models, certain experiences, but who's to say it actually does? Willpower is just one of those words that's thrown around, but like, what is it? It's like, the ability to override your instincts or your emotions. Okay, so it's consciousness, and if it's like you're conscious all the time, except when you're asleep, but willpower is really quite difficult to force yourself to do this sort of stuff. So consciousness is automatic all the time, except it's difficult sometimes. So, I'm not really sure what willpower even is, or even if it even exists. But what I do know is if you're relying on it for discipline, yeah, you're out of luck. It's a bad strategy. Uh, but so if you come to me, because I'm a coach, I see coaching clients here and there. If you come to me with a discipline issue, you want to be more focused, more driven, more consistent, whatever it is, then we're going to explore that. And I won't do anything until I understand how you operate and what you really want. Because your desires are going to be unique, your neurology, your skills, your experience is all going to be quite different. But and it's even possible that you don't even need discipline. You just think you do because that makes sense. But if a number of people come to me and they all want discipline, then I'm going to see certain patterns in this, certain things that work. And this is going to be some of those things that are going to work for most people. So maybe these will work for you too. And an interesting thing between, because some people seem like they're super disciplined and other people like really struggle. And often what's coming down to is it's not a matter of mental strength or willpower or any of that. It's just a few different ways of operating. Like some people are just better at using their brains and their bodies, and some people have approaches, strategies for that that are just not that good. And so, a nice simple example, let's say that you wake up, it's early in the morning, you need to get out of bed, but you're tired, it's dark, it's cold out, but it's warm and snug in your bed. What do you do? And it could be even worth taking a few moments. Like, what's your internal experience like? What's it like to be you in that moment? Like, so let's say you are curled up in bed, and if you could, you would just love to stay there, but you know you need to get up. What do you do, and how easy is it for you to get up? Now, I'll make a couple of predictions here. If your approach is, so you curl up in bed, you're like, oh, okay, and then it's got this voice in your mind, and you're telling yourself, yeah, it's really nice in here, it's really comfortable. I know I need to get up though, like, come on, get up. It's time to get up, you can do this. Stop being so lazy. Think of a stoic quote where it's like, were you made for sleeping the day away? No, you weren't, so get up. If that's your approach, it's going to be a hassle for you. It's going to be a struggle. Even if you do it, it's going to be quite difficult. If, on the other hand, you quiet down that internal dialogue, in fact, if you could switch off your internal hearing entirely, you do that. And instead, you see yourself. Like, what's the first thing you do when you get out of bed? Maybe you head to the kitchen and you make yourself a cup of coffee. If you see yourself, like, imagine, like, standing there in your kitchen, making that cup of coffee, noticing what that would feel like to have the mug in your hands, the feeling of the spoon as you stir the coffee or the milk or the sugar or whatever you're doing. And just visualize that. Imagine that. And imagine what it'll feel like to do it. You're going to find it's a lot easier to get out of bed. This isn't a matter of talent. This isn't a matter of mental strength. It's just some people have, as part of their habits, their strategies, is they try to psych themselves up. They try to talk themselves into it, which doesn't really work that well. But some people just see themselves doing it, just feel what that would feel like. And for whatever reason, that works really well. And I do have a number of suspicions as to why that works as well as it does. Not really important for this. All you need to know is that that approach does work quite well. The trick with that, though, is that you're having this moment of poor discipline and you're having to correct yourself, which is fine. It's actually quite a healthy thing to be able to do. But what you might want is to be in a situation where you don't even need to correct yourself. You simply, when you need to do something and you know that this will be a good thing, you just simply do it. You don't need to rely on these strategies where you see things and feel things inside and you quiet down the internal voice and all that sort of stuff. You just do it. And one of the most extraordinary things took me decades to come across, to come up with this. I haven't seen this written elsewhere. I can't be the first person to have discovered this. That's impossible. Some philosopher or coach or whatever has definitely come across this before. But as far as I can tell, I came up with this just based on my own observations and experiences. And that's, if you're struggling with discipline, just forget about discipline. Just forget about it. Because if discipline was going to work as a thing for you, it would. What you should focus on instead is, for want of a better word, spiritual growth. You want to be more evolved, more psychologically healthy, more emotionally healthy, more present to your senses, more in tune with your experiences, better with your self-knowledge and your self-expression, like able to set healthy boundaries. It's a bunch of things, more than what I just said, but hopefully you get the idea of what I mean by spiritual growth. And so if you struggle to go to the gym and you struggle to get out of bed in the morning and you struggle to focus at work, what if instead of just focusing on each of those things piecemeal, you focus on being so evolved as a human that those things just come easily, naturally to you? I've heard people say that grief gets easier over time, not because the grief gets smaller, but because you as a person grow larger around it. And that's sort of the same vibe I'm going for here. You want to grow so large as a psychological and a spiritual force that the problem of poor discipline is just irrelevant. And so this is not focusing on what's important and the bigger goals and things. This is just upgrading yourself to the point where you get better discipline simply as a side effect of this growth. Now, if you know how to do that, by all means go for it. If you want some guidance around how to do that, absolutely happy to talk. But I'd like to end by bringing in a Christian perspective with this, because the Christian perspective here is quite obvious. How you get discipline and how you get spiritual growth are very much the same thing. It comes down to how the gospel according to Matthew ends. Jesus says very clearly, amongst a bunch of other things, that your duty, your obligation here is to deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow Jesus. And if you do that, well, denying yourself, straight up, that's another definition for discipline. But if you do this in the context of Christian living, so if you deny yourself, and you pick up your cross, and you follow Jesus, each of which sounds so simple and small, but contains incredible amount of obligations and lessons and things for you to experience and things for you to think and things for you to not experience and not think. It sounds so simple, but this is a fire, this is a forge that will really temper your soul and your spirit. If you're able to do all of that, everything that's required of you as a Christian, you'll find that greater discipline, it's not even a question you need to ask. That's just something that you have. It's something that you receive. It's something that you cultivate. And if that's the path that you pursue, and I really hope it is, I look forward to all of the greater riches and happiness and above all fulfillment that come from having a stronger sense of discipline. That's enough for today. Peace be with you.